conscious effort to ask Ms. Aragon as much as you could before you put handcuffs on her? Why?
To gain as much information prior to Miranda.
So when people know what their rights are, they don't want to talk to you?
How do you think that the court should analyze the testimony? That's why I was asking her as much as I could before we had that.
Your Honor, good morning. Richard Rabner for the people.
Good morning.
And Connor Stewartson 50060 for Ms. Aragon, who appears out of custody by my side.
Our two motions that were filed, those include a motion to suppress for lack of reasonable suspicion and probable cause, and a motion to suppress statements alleging both a Miranda violation and the statements were made involuntarily. Therefore, the court agreed to litigate these two motions that raise constitutional issues. If both sides are ready to proceed, the people may call their first witness.
Yes, Your Honor. The people called Deputy Jeffrey Hagney of the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office.
Several of the witnesses described them seeing that blue sedan drive in clockwise motion around the female with the brown dog, and then ultimately start a straight line of travel towards south or southwest and strike the female and the brown dog. I remember one specifically mentioned that they believed the victim flew about 20 feet in the air.
You at no point saw any video of this car actually hitting anybody, right?
No, I believe all the videos I saw kind of began after the fact. Yeah.
Okay. Essentially, the direction the car was going is the correct way to exit the field.
To come back into the parking lot. Yes. Yep. Correct.
But at the same time, you also spoke with witnesses who told you that the woman in the field, not the woman in the car, but the woman in the field, was hitting that car's windshield, right?
Correct. Yeah.
At least one witness said she had an object in her hand and was hitting the car's glass multiple times, right?
I believe so. Yep.
No witness said that this woman didn't hit that car at all.
I have to review my report on that. I know I spoke with 5 witnesses. Whether or not they all were consistent on the hitting the windshield, I'm not sure.
Okay. But moral of the story, multiple witnesses said that.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. None of the damage that was present can be specifically attributed to this day.
To my knowledge, no. But, yeah.
Do you recall her demeanor?
I didn't speak with her directly. So, you know, I don't.
Okay. Did you notice any obvious signs of injury?
I didn't, but again, I don't recall approaching her very closely or engaging with her.
Based on the witness statements you did receive, it's pretty clear that Ms. Aragon drove her car into the field to get her dog, right?
Yeah, it seems that that's consistent with the initial purpose of driving out there to get the dog.
The initial purpose, there's no evidence that shows the initial purpose was to drive into the field to hit this woman.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And certainly if that was a statement you had received, that would be something you would put in a report. That would be a very important statement.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, this is Detective Bjorn Lichtig.
Come on up, Detective. Before you take a seat, if you could please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Was she in any form of custody, or were you, for instance, drawing any kind of firearm or making any kind of demands on her?
No.
Throughout your contact with her, was there ever a point where a use of force occurred other than handcuffs?
No.
Did anybody at any time surround her or display firearms, tasers, anything like that?
Not that I ever saw.
How would you describe the nature of your contact with her, starting at the beginning through when she ultimately was transported back for arrest?
Well, I was investigating what occurred, but it was conversational.
At first, did you make any demands of her as to where she could or couldn't go?
At first, no.
this point, Your Honor, the people would like to publish clips. I would proceed through the 4 clips in chronological order.
Man, hold on. Come on out here for me, all right? Come on out here. We're not going in the house. I'll take verbal identity from you. You're in the middle of an investigation. Whether or not you were justified in what you did, we need to figure this whole thing out.
I'm just trying to watch out my dog. My dog was a 6'7".
Hey, do you mind just hanging out with her? I'm just going to take some photos real quick and then go up to channel 2 also. So,
But I didn't go to just. I didn't say
no,
that.
I didn't say that yet. I said you're in the middle of an investigation. Yeah, so we're not in custody or anything like that. We're just talking. The stick that we're sitting in our relationship, in other words. I'm going to go to Tanner right now because of that stick there. But we got her statement already before she was interrogated or in custody. So
She's screaming about you said something about my dead daughter or something. You were going, so I'm checking it. And then, so she like snaps the windshield. What are you doing? It's fuck away from me. Which I was thinking she was kidding, but smacks the windshield. She comes straight out of the donut this way. Hits her with the front of the car and just keeps going right car. Yeah. And just keeps going straight up.
that's video.
That's not video, that's evidence.
That's not for me. I'm taking her.
Okay, cool.
Stopped at 07:14 and 6 seconds. That's 13 minutes and 48 seconds into the clip. At this time, have you arrested Miss Aragon in the video?
No,
Has anybody else arrested her at this point?
not that I believe.
And you mentioned something about clearance. What did you mean by clearance in the video?
It's a clearance to NCIC.
Looks like there's emergency vehicles as you're walking around. Are you aware what happens to the person from the field?
I believe she was transported due to injuries from being hit by the vehicle.
Okay.
When handcuffs were first put on Miss Aragon, do you recall hearing someone say, "I'm going to read you your rights"?
I don't recall. I don't know. Maybe if we replayed the video.
Well,
You're in post, right? Yeah. You're right. Google rest.
Say that.
so who was that? Do you know who said that?
I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe it was Deputy Gutierrez.
And essentially said, as soon as your cuffs are on, I'm going to read you your rights before we ask any more questions. Is that right?
I believe so.
But no one read her rights at that point.
No, not at that time.
It wasn't until several minutes later in the police car that you read her rights for the first time.
Sorry, I don't want to. I don't believe that anybody had read her rights. I had not read her rights until in the vehicle, as you just spoke.
Hey, that result type form. Can you put the hands on a good form, please? Sir? You're going to be
All right. Is this when you arrest Miss Aragon?
Yes.
Okay. And for the record, this is 07:14 and 45 seconds on the timestamp and 14 minutes and 28 seconds into the clip.
Okay, ready? So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be against the bill. You have the right to talk with a lawyer and have him or her present with the lawyer any questions. You cannot afford to hire a lawyer. One will be appointed to represent you before answering any questions. Besides starting answering questions, you still have the right to stop answering questions and also the right to talk with lawyers. Do you understand anything right to the repentance? Okay.
Detective, I just wanted to ask you, when you were giving that Miranda advisement, were you using anything to help you do that?
Yeah, an agency issued Miranda card.
Okay.
What looks like there were like multiple circles going around. Are you sure that you guys weren't arguing? That you were on a circle or anything like that? Or are you positive you went one time around?
I can't say positive that I have mental issues and I black out when I get down. So I can't say positive. I should be maybe, but I know I really want to see it. I feel in my heart that I didn't hit her.
Blackout when you get back. What is that diagnosis? Do you have a diagnosis?
I'm just schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, depression. I got but that's why I try to stick to myself and don't have problems.
If they want to take you back home, then I'll drive you home.
What do you mean if they want to take me back home?
That's up to them. I told you they're going to be investigated.
Walk home?
Then they say I'll drive you back. They want me to go back.
If they want to go back, go on, Jeff. This is bullshit. This is bullshit.
Okay.
Bullshit.
So what you're not understanding is I'm not taking a deal. Hey, yeah, that's what I said. I'm not asking any further questions. Anything you say on your own free will. If you want to do this, it's up to you. And I will act accordingly. But exactly like a lady, I'll treat you like a lady. If you start acting crazy and kicking and doing all that, then we'll act accordingly. That's not what I want. It's my job to keep things peaceful. But yeah, it's on you what we do and where we go.
Investigator, do you recall, I think in the first clip, the first or second clip in the body worn camera that was shown to you, where Miss Aragon is in your police car, you stop talking to her, shut the door, and then you're talking with a group of officers right by your car. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Do you recall saying to other officers, that's why I was asking her as much as I could before we had that?
Are you asking what I was referring to?
No, I'm asking if you recall saying that.
I believe statement something to that effect.
Okay. And what were you referring to when you said had that?
I think when she was in handcuffs, which would imply that she would believe that she was in custody at that point.
You were making a conscious effort to ask Ms. Aragon as much as you could before you put handcuffs on her.
That's correct.
Why?
To gain as much information.
But why specifically before you put handcuffs on her?
Prior to Miranda.
So you didn't want her to know what her rights were?
That's not it at all.
Okay, so then why did you make a specific conscious effort to ask her as much as possible before you put handcuffs on her if it wasn't for that purpose?
Well, sometimes people, once they're Mirandized, don't wish to speak any further and they want to gain as much information as possible regarding the situation.
So when people know what their rights are, they don't want to talk to you?
Not in all cases, but sometimes.
Okay. You would rather get the information from people when they don't know their rights than read them their rights?
Not specifically, no. Not typically, but sometimes when people are read their Miranda rights, they become evasive and untruthful.
You responded to whichever deputy that was, that's enough for me, I'm going to take her. What does that mean?
Well, we still need to confirm and also identify it was the defendant. But at that time, that was my initiation to him that we were going to detain her.
Okay. You actually had her car keys, right?
That's correct. I asked for them.
So she couldn't drive away, right?
Yes, that is the intent, is I don't want her to get in the vehicle and potentially run someone else over.
And potentially run someone else over? Is that what you said?
Well, we're still investigating a potential injury accident where a pedestrian was run over. We don't want anyone to move the vehicle, or I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with her mental state. And I just am concerned about that. Safety issues, mostly.
She was not free to leave after you took her keys, right?
She was suspect in an investigation. So at that time, no, she would not be. I would not. I don't believe that she was going to be free to leave. If she had decided to leave the scene, I would have probably tried to stop her and to continue the investigation.
Because she was not free to leave.
Because at that point, I had established reasonable suspicion that she was involved in a crime.
At some point, you actually are walking away and you tell that officer to keep an eye on her, to sort of stay by her.
Stay with her, yes.
Why did you do that?
Same reasons before. We're investigating a possible crime, a real suspicion that she was involved as a suspect. And so I wanted him to remain with her to make sure that, I guess it's security reasons as well.
Make sure she didn't leave.
Yes.
You did not arrest Miss Aragon on attempted first-degree assault, right?
That I do not recollect.
Right. I guess thinking about this case, if I told you you didn't, why would you have not done that?
Are you asking specifically what charge she was booked in under?
Sure.
Unfortunately, I don't remember what charge I did book her in under. But I believe, and that's the thing, I don't know positively what it was. I'm sorry, I just don't remember.
In terms of the statements, Your Honor, she can be seen immediately wanting to talk to and willing to talk to Investigator Lichtig as he arrives on scene. She is very much talking about everything from her perspective, about her gripes with the neighbors. She offers up a lot of personal information, whether it be medical, mental state, mental health. At a minimum, she had been told not to as she begins to step into her apartment. Though Investigator Lichtig had said no restraints or force physically was taken to stop her from doing so. There were certainly other officers in the area that I think understood the basic procedures based on the testimony and the videos, that they were to keep an eye on her while everything was being investigated, that she was a suspect. She wants to speak to investigators. She wants to tell her side of the story. The way that the video portrays the way she's speaking to the officer makes it look very voluntary. Whether or not that was in reference to her being arrested and booked or talking to investigators seemed a little unclear, but that was probably the closest thing when talking about whether or not something would go well for her if she acted in a certain way physically. I only mention that because it's in the video, and I think it's important to mention that at some point there are comments, at least, to the possibility of a use of force or a criminal charge regarding how she conducts herself. So, Your Honor, I'm asking you to deny both of the motions.
Mr. Rebner, how do you think that the court should analyze the testimony of Investigator Lichtig on cross-examination, where he testified that in an explanation of why he stated, "That's why I was asking her as much as I could before we had that." He said that it was his conscious objective to ask Ms. Aragon as much as he could before handcuffs and Miranda, because sometimes people don't wish to speak any further, and we want to gain as much information as possible. And sometimes after someone has read their rights, they become evasive and untruthful.
What I'll say is that sounds like a genuine and true statement of something that maybe he thought would be misunderstood.
Right, but to me, that testimony has me concerned that there may have been a deliberate two-step interrogation.
I know there's a case on that, Your Honor. It's hard for me to remember it right off the top of my head, but
Seminole, Colorado case is Varigan v. People.
Right.
There's also Phillips v. People, both discuss United States Supreme Court case, Missouri v. Seibert.
yes, those Varigan specifically was what I remembered.
Yes.
Has come up recently in other matters. Up to that moment, she has not been in custody. And I do think that that is an important part factually that distinguishes this from a two-step interrogation. While she's in custody in part one, then warned after she's already had questions that elicit incriminating statements about what's under investigation. And then those same types of subject matters, asking questions to elicit similar or the same incriminating statements in an effort to cure it by sandwiching non-warned statements with a Miranda real quick in the middle. This was not that way.
Right, your position is she's not in custody for probable cause or Miranda purposes until she is handcuffed and placed in the back of the patrol car.
Yes.
Mr. Stewardson?
I think part of the problem with that analysis is there are several important times in this narrative where the court can see increasing level of control being exercised on Miss Aragon and her freedom of movement. From the very beginning, she's not allowed to go into her house. She needs to come out of her house. She needs to give the keys over to Investigator Lichtig, which specifically limits her freedom of movement. I don't think at that point she is being restrained to the degree associated with formal arrest. However, as soon as the other officer starts walking behind her, is placed to watch her, is told in front of her that he is watching her, that he's there, that she's not, she needs to stay here. Certainly any statements between handcuffs and being placed in the car, we believe should be suppressed for reasons other than a two-step interrogation. But I think it's clear based on this investigator's testimony that, if he didn't feel like he ever had to read Miranda, he wouldn't, because it hurts the statements that he can elicit from someone who doesn't know their rights. And further, no one actually could identify the victim. And no one in this entire proceeding or presentation of evidence identified the victim by correct first name, last name. Everyone just referred to her as the person or the female. Your Honor, I'm asking that the court dismiss the felony charge as it was, as a sanction for not having probable cause at the point of arrest when Ms. Aragon was in the car.
Mr. Abner, I'm trying to figure out how much of Exhibit 1 I have seen during this hearing, or if I need to make sure that I review it in its entirety prior to ruling. Before I rule, I do want to make sure that I am watching the entirety of the people's exhibits.
We have people available on the 29th all day.
Yes, I can do Wednesday, the 29th in the morning.
Maybe 10 o'clock.